obviously, I mean, Swans are confirmed finals this season. Thoughts, really?
Yeah, it's just the whole competition set up to not play finals every year. You've got a real challenge if you're able to do that. If you're up the top of the ladder year on year, it's whether it's salary cap draft or draw, any of those things are designed to go against you. So it's a real challenge every year to put yourself in a position to be able to have another go, and it's it's a good achievement to be able to get there. But we've still got a game to go this week. We play Melbourne, and there's a lot on the line this week for both teams, and it's going to be a massive crowd here at the SCG, and still a lot to play for, and we're really looking forward to that.
Were there points in the season where you thought might be a bit out of reach this year?
I was hoping not. I never got down to the point where I lost hope. It was always a case of if we get on a bit of a run and we're able to be competitive, we get some important players back in the team, that would be a chance of playing some good footy. Now, there's still a lot of water to go under the bridge then, but we've been able to do both of those and play a bit more consistently over the second half of the year and give ourselves a chance.
Did you alter anything in terms of player mindset, resetting goals, anything like that that's led to a bit of a charge?
I think that we altered a bit. We get some more player availability. If you have a look at the first half of the year and the consistency of that, sometimes it's just as simple as that. And I was trying to explain it at the time. But once you get some consistency in your key personnel, it makes a big difference. And the synergy that those players are able to get after playing together certainly helps. We've been able to have a few more injuries even over the last few weeks, but been able to cover that because the depth of those injuries weren't as extreme as what they were in the first half of the year.
Speaking of those, how's Tom Papley? What's his situation?
He's okay. It's he's pulled up well today, so he's still a chance to play this week. So he feels pretty good. We'll see how the week progresses, and it'd be great to have him in the team and available. We obviously subbed him on the weekend, but he's pulled up well. Feels good today. We'll see how the week progresses to see whether he's available for this week.
You mentioned in the post-match press that you hadn't really seen the Keys goal at that stage, but having probably had time to reflect on it, what did you make of that incident?
I think firstly 10 minutes after the game and sitting on the bench, you don't get to analyse it like people in the press box do. But look, firstly, I think it's important to acknowledge how disappointed I'd be if I was Matty Nicks. There's no question that you get disappointed when those type of things happen, and they don't happen very often. But when you're on the wrong side of it, you get very disappointed, and the AFL have acknowledged that. It's disappointing for the AFL, disappointing for the umpire involved too. We feel for him as well. So, those footy can be a cruel game sometimes.
Out of that game also, Tom McCartin's facing 2 weeks. You guys have indicated that you're going to challenge the decision. Can you just talk us through how you're planning to take that?
Yeah, it's we feel the incident. We've decided to challenge it because we feel it was an accidental football incident. The ball deviated. Tommy didn't even really brace, let alone elect a bump. And because of the deviation of the ball, the shape of the ball, which way it bounced, both to the side and backwards, Tommy didn't have a lot of choice, and that's why we'll be going for it.
As part of the appeal to try to get it reduced to 1 so you can play the first final?
We'd like him to be able to be available this week if he could. But once again, the appeal is based upon what we look at with the incident, and because of the ball deviation, which way it goes, the fact that he didn't elect a bump, it's an unfortunate footy incident.
How happy are you that there will be an official farewell for Lance Franklin this week, and I guess for Paddy McCartin as well?
Yeah, look, it's terrific to be able to farewell the big fella. He might even put him in the goal square and see how he goes. Get the number 23 off, dust it off, and see how he looks after a couple of weeks off. I don't know how he'd shape up, but he's great to have him back, and it's good to be able to acknowledge that, and I'm sure the crowd will get a lot out of it. He'll get a lot out of it, and hopefully his family does too. His kids, and to acknowledge one of the all-time greats is important.
Has he kept in touch much with yourself or the playing group?
I was texting this morning, and we had a bit of a laugh on the text. So he's been away. He's put his feet up over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not sure whether he'll be available this week or not.
Was that your text message?
I was just having a laugh at him, but no, he's all good. Yeah.
Is there a chance he could be around for that first final, just around the team, kind of as they prepare for that elimination final?
Oh, we haven't even talked about it. So he hasn't been around for the last few weeks, and that's fine.
Just on the weekend, obviously you had 40 points of the lead there. like the second quarter. What changed? What sort of...
Well, I think we played a fantastic brand of footy. Probably 5 minutes before half time, they kicked a couple of goals. We even we got the scores even. 3/4 time, we're 32 points up, and so we did a lot right for most of the game, and played really well. They're entitled to have a run at it, have their turn at momentum. They're a very good team playing at home, and they had a really good run at it in the last quarter. We lost ground position, as I said after the game. We just lost ground position, beaten at clearance, and then we're trying to dig the ball out of our back half, which we didn't do that successfully, and lost a number of contests through that period that were important contests. So we'll look at that and hopefully improve that.
Is that the other side too about the goal controversy and whatnot? Like, that didn't decide the game. I mean, you guys dominated for a long period of the game. Is that how you sort of look at it anyway? I mean, is it easy? Obviously, you won the game, but...
I'd sort of be pretty pragmatic about it, I guess. Disappointed about, clearly for the game, and understand Nixie and Adelaide's disappointment with the goal controversy. But we were 32 points up at 3/4 time and played some good footy. We played a poor last quarter, didn't get that right, and we've got to get better at it.
We've spoken this year with you a bit about those sort of 3/4 leads that haven't quite panned out, but in the last couple of weeks you've seen a hold on against Essendon, a hold on against Adelaide on the weekend that you might not have done earlier in the year. So even though it's not how you want to win, is it still pleasing that you guys have been able to get over the line? Yeah,
it is. I mean, obviously you've got to be able to win. That's most important, particularly from the position we've been in. We didn't have any wriggle room, I guess. We needed to keep winning. So that's most important. It's always tough to win AFL games of footy, so it's critical. We've still got to get better in the contest. And in the last quarter, there was a number of the contests we've still got to get better at, both when we win the ball and be clean, but also our effective tackles and things like that we've got to get right in that last quarter.
How are Joel Lamarty and Justin McInerney?
Joel, he'll look to do some training this week. We'll see how he goes later in the week. He'd be a chance at this stage. And Justin, we'll see how the week goes. He'd have to have a pretty big ramp up this week to be available from what he's been doing. So we'll see how he goes tomorrow.
Is there maybe more of a complication with his issue? Because it was...
No. His was a bit worse. His calf was a bit worse than, say, Rampy's calf. So just where it was, a bit closer to the tendon. So it just means that he'll have a little bit extra time than Ramps.
Would some of those guys, knowing that you've got that extra week between finals, does that come into consideration at all about whether you play them this weekend?
We'll pick our best team available this week. The players that are ready and available and fit, there's plenty to play for this week. So whoever's fit and ready to go and putting their hand up and train this week, we'll pick them. There's a lot to play for. Big game. Can't wait. Play Melbourne, the top 4 team. Both teams have plenty on the line. So looking forward to that.
Another big game for Hayden McLean. We heard last week you might be close to getting that new contract. Have you heard any more about how that's progressing?
Look, I mean, obviously for Hayden and us at the moment, we've got to finish off the season, so that's where our priorities lie at the moment. He's playing really good footy for us.
What, Damien Hardwick's just re-signed with the Swans?
Has he?
Good to see him back.
Just been announced?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I just had a press before.
Oh, did he? Whereabouts? Up there?
Up there? Yeah, he's back.
He's back from France?
Yeah.
It's good.
Is it good to see him back, or is it another headache seeing a coach like him? You've got to come up
it's great to see him back. I mean, I don't know the details. I texted him straight after he left Richmond, and he and I always had a great relationship. When we've been around as long as what we have and competed against each other over the years, you get to know each other really well. And he's a quality coach. What he did at Richmond was outstanding. Obviously, Gold Coast have jumped at the opportunity to sign him. He's a very good coach. I was disappointed for a mate of mine in Stewie Jew, who I worked with here for a long time, so that was disappointing from that perspective. But Dimmer's a wonderful coach. I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Just on Hayden, is there a concern that it won't get done, the deal? Like, we're close to the end of the season. No movement there. Is there a worry there at all that he could go back to Victoria potentially?
No, I'm hopeful that it'll get done. So I'm just mindful of Melbourne this week. That's my main focus.